Welcome back to our new Satisfactory Let's Play. This is episode 2. In the first episode we completed a hub. We have here a hub that is fully built, that was the tier 0 if you wish. We finalized that by automating a couple of things. We automated our mining for 3 resources, the iron over here, we have the limestone a bit over there, and the copper over here. And we then automated also the smelting into ingots and into something else. So for example, over here, I think we're making rods. Over there, we're making both the wire and the cables. And now it's time, therefore, to move to the tier 1. You can see I've put on the right side a couple of objectives, which I think we're going to try to do in this second episode. By the way, if you're wondering how to do that, when you press tab and open your inventory, and you move to the right side of your screen, you'll see a black line. Click on it. That will open the to-do list. Then you can start writing things. You can see also over here how to make bold color or those type of things. So that's what I did over here. So yes, our main objective is, as I said, to go through tier 1 of the hub. So if we look at our milestone over here, tier 1, we have the base building to give us foundation and some walls. So really good for us to start actually making factories. Then we have the logistics to get some conveyors, splitter and mergers, really important to really improve our productivity. And lastly, the field research, which will give us particular the map and the man. So that's definitely something we want. But you see below that I've also put a couple of other objectives, or let's say intermediate goals that I'm putting for myself. The first one is power. Power level 2, I'll explain a bit what I mean by that, but basically upgrading better power. Then starting to use splitters for better productivities when we unlock them. Then we haven't started making screws, so we should automate that for sure. And then probably also try to do our first real factory. This will be probably an ugly one because we don't really have access to a lot of the beautiful element to make factories right now. But I think we should definitely still do it. If you've missed the previous episode, of course, don't hesitate to check that in the video description below. And for everybody else, let's dive in. So let's first do a quick tour of our resources. We have actually a lot of roads over here. So let's switch now to iron plates. Then we're gonna need 200 of the limestone. So let's see that. We have 300 there, perfect. And with that, we'll soon have enough already for the base building, our first milestone of tier 1. After that, we'll talk maybe about power. Let's see, so this is done, and just a few more plates. Or maybe let's talk about power while we wait now. So if we look at our power consumption, our max consumption when everything is working is 39. Capacity is 40, so we're very close to that. Right now, we are only at a production of 34, 35, because, again, this is not fully automated, because we don't really have, perfect productivity. Some things are working, sometimes not always. The key thing is that basically our max consumption is very, very close to our capacity. So if we want to upgrade, to have more facilities, we're gonna need more of these. And these two are given to us by default, but now, if we open our build menu, we can actually start making biomass burner. This is the first, real electricity. You can place it, or maybe actually let me just wait for base building, because then we can do a mini base over here for the power. But the other thing to note for the power is that now we have unlocked biomass. We can transform things like our leaves or the wood into biomass. Similar to the leaves and wood, this is a fuel, so we'll put it into those biomass burner, but it's a much more efficient one. So basically it will last a lot longer. So definitely a good thing to do. We can craft it, we can also put it into a factory. Right now we can't really put it into a factory because we're gonna be limited in terms of energy. So that's why I'm doing very quickly a bit. As you can see, it is actually super quick. So it goes fast, but in the future we will automate that too. I'll show you how to automate it in a second. Okay, so a few minutes have passed. We have the plates. Let's give them and start making foundations. It is, we're launching, starting with tier 1 actually. Every time we launch something, you can see pod will return right now in 2 minutes, so that will be quick, but it will get longer too. And that means we have finished the first one, so let's update our to-do list with an X. And done. We can also select already the next one. We can do either logistic or fields. I think we're gonna do logistics. We're actually very close to already have the resources. Is really why you want to automate all of these things. But as I said, the big thing now is that we have access to foundations and wall, or the first few different ramps and foundations, as well as a few walls, 1 meter and 4 meters. It will cost resources, you know, it's not free. And as I said, I'm going to put it over here. So for now, we have to stay on the ground, or if we want, we can also go up. Sometimes being up, is a bit easier to build things like this. So one thing we do need to be careful of is there's different elevations, right? It's not all flat. But for now, this is not going to be a very long-term base. This is just to get us started. So it's fine. We're gonna make it quite simple. You also can put all of these things into your bars over here. This is the number 1. Press Alt and move your mouse. You can also move to 2 and 10. We have many. Let's put foundation level 1 as number 5 and 4 as number 6. And then maybe the ramp 4 to 7. And then the wall 4 to 8. Okay, so to make it again very simple, we're just gonna do this. Then you can press R to build zoop. So what that means by zoop is that if I press and move, I'm making many at once. If I press R again, I'm going into vertical, so I can go up or down if there was face down. So we're gonna zoop. Zoop is a good one. Then I'm also going to press control. What control does is that it's snapping this foundation to a world grid. Basically the whole world, you can't see it, but there's a grid underneath. So you definitely want actually to make sure it's linked to the grid, so that if I build the base over here and then I build another base, for example, all the way over there, if they're both linked to the grid, then they can match. Otherwise they won't be able to. But anyway, let's make it simple. Something like this. Going to put it 4 to 4. And then we do this. And then we do the same again. And we can have a ramp to go up like this. Let's maybe extend a couple more. We have the resources. But as you can see, this is quickly costing quite a bit. It's 2 iron plates and 5 concrete per. So here it is. We have a first sort of small base. Let's clean this. And as we said before, for power, we're going to need to start building some biomass burner. What's good is they're exactly taking the space of one foundation. So that's easy. Something like this, 1. And you can see that around the building, there is this white cube. This is basically the space taken by it. So then we can align it to the one next to it. You can also press Control usually to snap a bit easier. We're going to expand the base quite a bit. So that's why I'm putting a few. Start with 3. Like this. So these burners, as we said, we of course need to give some fuel. And here it's good we can start giving this biomass, right? We can do the same over here and over there. But then of course we will also have to connect them, right? I'm gonna try to put it in the middle of the foundation. I'm gonna try to put it, yeah, perfect. Then over here. Good. And then we just need to connect this one over here. This one we can actually connect over there. And this one goes there. Boom. So now our capacity, is 0 because it has stopped. But if we put it on, and it is, our capacity now has jumped to 90. Why 90? Because we have 30 for each of these. And I think those 2 are actually empty. Yeah, they're red because they don't have any electricity, they don't have any fuel left. So that is our power a bit advanced because we built biomass burners and we started to use biomass instead of things like the leaves or the wood. It's good to have electricity, but for this electricity, as you saw from now, we're gonna need a lot of biomass. So let's make sure that we automate how to get biomass by building a constructor over here. Then we're aligning a bit to the foundation. And then just before the constructor, we're gonna put organization storage container. Perfect. And then 3. Then inside we can put some leaves. This tell them, break the leaves into biomass, or similarly for the wood. The only problem is right now we actually have to choose. It can't be both. We will have to alternate between both, and that will create my biomass automatically. Unfortunately, we can't link this directly to the biomass. We'll have to work it. But we do need also some power. Sorry, I forgot about that. And yeah, it's starting. So yeah, we're still consuming around 40, but now at least our capacity is 90. So I think we've reached also this sort of goal of power level 2. It's not super advanced, but it is something. And we've also started using foundation. So let's move on and try to unlock logistics now. To do that, we need to make sure we have more iron plates. And while we're waiting, I want to prepare my first factory. And my first factory is actually not going to be iron, but we're going to make a very simple one for the concrete, because we're gonna need a lot of concrete to build the other factories. So we have a node over here. Let's check it to understand what it is. This is a pure node, so really good. And then I think there's another one close by. Check, where is it? Over here. Perfect. And this one is also pure, actually. While we're waiting, let's also make sure to start the next one in my list, which was the screws. We are not making screws right now. For that, right now, we're gonna make it simple and just use a new miner and one smelter to make the iron ingots. And then we're gonna transform the iron ingots into rods, and then the rods themselves into the screws. So now if we look at what's going to be needed, we seem to have everything except we need 4 reinforced iron plates. But this is also one of the small things we're not making yet automatically. But soon the goal is really to make a quick factory for every single resources. So for that we're going to need a bit of screws. That's why I'm not making reinforced iron plates right now, is because first let's make the screws which are needed for it. Right, one thing at a time. Okay, 4 reinforced plates is what we need. Perfect. Again, in the future we'll make it a lot cleaner. For now, let's be simple. Put the miner like this. Connect it with the belt. Let's do right away that this is iron. Then we continue. We're gonna need first one constructor to make iron rod, and then second just after it to make the screws themselves, which require iron rod. As you can see, it's not going to be optimized. Once again, this is just quick and dirty to get us started. The only thing we're missing is electricity. Okay, let's connect. We're going to need probably 2 poles. Let's put one here and there. One for the miner, one for the smelter, and then the 2 constructor. And here it is. You see yellow. It needs to start. 120 per minute. This is only going to do 30. So again, not optimized at all. In the future, we'll be able to overclock or underclock it. But for now, this is not available. So anyway, this will. I'm just checking that I didn't forget anything. Starting, this is starting, we see it, perfect, and that's flowing over here, we see it, and yeah, all good, perfect. So now by now, hopefully, we also have enough of the different resources. Let us check. No, not enough. 130, 150, and also missing a bit of plates. But at least we have completed another one of those objectives, the screws. Few more minutes and we're ready. We have enough of the iron plates, enough of the iron rods, and enough of the wires. So ready for lunch? Go! Logistics, here we come. Like we open our tab, construction time as always. We go into logistics. Now we have the conveyor lift, and we have over here the merger. conveyor merger and conveyor splitter. Really good. We're definitely gonna use that right away, to be honest. So let's put it 9 and 0, and this one will replace number 4. Kick off the last one, field research, and for this one we're gonna need wires, the screws, and the iron plates. And we are making all of this, but we're making all of this not in a really good way. And in particular, over here for the iron, right? Remember, we're making 120, then we're only using 30 over here, and then we're here, this one is using 30, but this one over there wasn't even using 30, right? So it's not optimal at all, which we can change with splitters and mergers. This was what we're going to start, and what better way to start it than to start it with iron, because we need two types of iron, right? We need the iron plates and the iron rods. But again, I'm not going to make it perfect right away. Just want to make it simple, show you how it works. So let's just delete for now this conveyor belt to make it a bit simple. We have already one of these over there. Right? The idea is we basically want the same once again. We're gonna make one more constructor, one more smelter, and a splitter sort of just before. To do that, we have most of it except, again, 2 reinforced plates. It makes them very quickly. Okay, so again, the idea, this won't be perfect, but to make it simple, to show you how it works, we're just putting a second smelter next to it. Then we're gonna put one constructor behind it, right? Need to connect that, up, up. So this is also gonna be iron ingots. This is, one is gonna be iron rods, I think, because this one is on sheet, yeah. And then what we need is just to split the iron into 2, right? We need some iron to go there and some iron to go there. Now let's also make sure that we connect electricity somehow. We're getting, our poles are getting messy, of course. In the future, we'll make it a lot better when we do factories. Done. And we set a splitter. So this one is a merger, so that's not what we want. This one is a splitter. Look at the splitter. Now there is 1 input, right? This is the orange, and 3 outputs. This is the green. So we want the orange to come a bit from the mine, in a sense, and then the green to go down. Let's see if that's gonna work. Yes, 1, 2. Again, making it super dirty. I'll show you tips and tricks on how to make it clean in the future. Just want to, now all of the iron is coming into here and then splitting that side and this side. This is a Mark 1 belt, right? So if we look over here to the logistic, you can see it's limited to 60 per minute. It means we're getting 60 per minute over here, and then 30 this side and 30 that side, splitting evenly. But yeah, now we're making both iron rods on that side and on this side the sheets. And that's how you use splitters for better productivity. Of course, again, this is, and with that, we are ready for field research. We have enough wires, enough screws, and enough iron plates. All of this is fully automated. Again, I don't want to do anything manually as much as possible. Any of those milestones will be done automatically. And with that, we have finished tier 1. We can move to tier 2 in the next episode. There's 5 different ones with quite a few things. But more importantly now, we have unlocked the MAM. So let's check it out. This is over here. As you can see, it will require quite a bit of resources, but we have them. So let's build it right away. And the MAM is sort of your special laboratory. As you'll see when you click here on it, you'll see a number of sort of research trees. Some of them are locked. We haven't discovered them. Others are unlocked. For example, we have discovered in episode 1 some quartz, remember, right? So the quartz one is unlocked versus this unknown metal. We haven't found it yet. So if we look at it, again, this is the tree, and you should try to do them as quickly as you can. This will unlock new interesting things. So definitely try to do it. We can do this first one, for example, which will enable us now to search for quartz instead of having to find it, by luck. We can press V and look for quartz. I know there's none very close, so not gonna take some time to find it, but anyway, we have the quartz. Now the next one, we can't do it yet. We're gonna need more quartz. Again, as soon as you can do them, really good. You can see we found some quartz, but a bit far. Then we have the next one, nutrients. These are things to restore your health. We found some of those berries earlier, so we can do it. That unlocks also the next level. We also found some of those bacon before, but we haven't found some of those nuts yet. And this one we can't do yet. Modular frames, we can't do that. Steel pipes, require steel, which is coal plus iron in its at least basic recipe. We can't do it yet, but as soon as we can, we will. And then alien organisms, this is when we kill some of those beasts, right? Like the orcs, we've killed a couple. We can do it. We've also killed one spider, I think, in the last episode. Or in this episode, I don't remember now. We haven't seen yet hatchers and spitters. And for this one, we're gonna need some of those alien proteins, which is, we can see, I can show you in my craft bench. We can automate that also in the future, but it's so small because this is transforming the remains of the creatures into proteins. Done. So it is the MAM, as I said, special research, as soon as you can, you should definitely do them. In particular, also when we find hard drives, this is gonna be pretty critical to unlock new recipes. So we'll get there soon, hopefully. But this is not the end of this episode. We finished tier 1, but as I said, the last objective we had in this episode was a first real factory. I mean, real, it won't be a huge factory, but kind of a good factory. And for that, we're gonna use limestone over here. We have 2 of those pure limestone nodes. So we're gonna build a couple of things. Of course, we're gonna need first 2 miners, 1 for each. Then we're not gonna need smelters because for the limestone you don't need that. We're gonna make 6 to make it a round number, but they won't work exactly at 100% until we unlock the underclocking or overclocking. Then we'll also need spitters. We'll actually need quite a few. How many we'll need? At least 5 or something like this, maybe more. Let me put 6 just in case. We'll also need some mergers, quite a few actually. We'll have to see that. And some belts, of course. So yeah, this is what we need. That means quite a few resources, and in particular some reinforced plates. Everything else I think we have quite a bit. And of course we'll also need foundations. The other thing we'll need is probably also more energy. For that energy, let's make sure that we restart also those 2 over here. You can right click on a resource to divide it by half. And this way we have some for this one and some for this one. And now we should be pretty good. 130, perfect. So right now we can't destroy those 2 trees that are a bit in the way. So I think we're gonna make the factory over here. At the beginning, when you're building factories, it often really helps to build those lookout towers. If you go into your building menus, that you go into organization, you'll see over here the lookout tower, and you can place it wherever you want. I like usually to put it in one of the corner because then you can go up, and it's usually quite a lot easier to build looking up like this. Now, in terms of the foundation, we have a 5 by 5. You could make it a bit smaller, but I like to leave space to be able to walk, around it, those type of things. Especially at the beginning, I think we have tons of space. It's totally fine. And then let's start building. So in terms of building, as I said, 5 by 5. And actually, we're not going to start building right away on this foundation because this foundation is going to be a logistic hidden foundation. So what we're going to do is that we're actually now going to go up. Now we're going to go up like this. And then we're going to start building again, sort of next to it. Something like this. Yeah. And that's going to be the real ground floor, if you wish. So let's start building the actual constructor. We said 6. We're going to put, once again, you could make it a bit more compact. I like to leave space. We're going to use like this. You can press Control, put it just next to it. Perfect. And similarly, just in front of it, rotating this. And number 6. That seems well aligned. Perfect. And in the future, we'll be able to do things a lot cooler, like for example, having a hole in the floor where the resources come just from there. But for now, we don't have that unlocked in the awesome shop. That will be probably in the next episode. So I need to do a bit of a cheat. You can see that this is hanging just a bit, and therefore we're gonna be able to just put an elevator like this. So the resources are coming from the bottom and they're going up and going directly into it. Perfect. And the last one. Perfect. And then we do the same on the other side. When you're dismantling, you can also press, the left control to dismantle many at once, like this. And we should see different buildings. Perfect. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Done. And similarly for the output, in the future we'll be able to just bring them down and not see it. Right now that will be a lot more difficult, so what we're going to do is just having merger over here. So let's start indeed with that. Mergers, this is the opposite of the splitters. Instead of having 1 input and 3 output, this one has 3 inputs and only 1 output, the green one. So that's what we're going to do over here, right? Then we're of course going to need some belts, and for now the belts are actually quite limited. We only have the Mark 1, but that we'll have to do. So that will limit of course the output to 60 per minute, but in the future we can upgrade them to level 2 and then it will work a bit. And the last one over here, then we're gonna want the output to go out like this. We're gonna have an elevator go down. Perfect. And after the elevator, we'll have over here a storage container. We're aligning it. Perfect. Done. This way, anytime I want limestone, I don't have to go up. And I mean, for this is simple, it's go up only 1 level. For very complex factories, you may have many levels. I can just go over here and take it all. We do need electricity also for the whole thing. So let's put one over here. We'll also get different poles in the future, like some that go on the walls and things like this. But for now, we only have access to this. So when that's the case, I like to actually put them in the middle, on top of the splitters or mergers like this. And then you can go, on both sides, sort of straight. And the main thing remaining for the power is to connect this one to the main grid. So let's do that. Here. There. We connect on the... That's a bit ugly, but let's do it. And the idea is our max consumption now has jumped to 92. But of course we're not fully ready because we also need the mines, right? We're gonna have those 2 mines over here. Let's start with the one at the end. In the future, you can also elevate these ones. For example, put 1 meter foundation around. Usually looks quite cool, but I know that these mines are not gonna stay forever there. We're gonna have level 2 miners and all of this later. Just making it a bit simple. Okay. Then again, for now, it will really not work really well if we try to merge this and that, because this is 120, 120, and then my belt is only 60, right? In the future, we can do some cool stuff. Right now, it's actually gonna be a bit of a mess, I think. We're gonna have to split it a lot. So each of the concrete factory is 45, right? So 45 based on the 60, that we have really is suboptimal. This factory is not gonna be optimal at all at the beginning. done. And then the last one, similarly, we go straight but 2 back and done. Okay, then we need to obviously connect them to the mines. As we said, this won't really be optimal, and I'll make it quite dirty at the beginning. Let's start actually with this one. I want it to come there, and then go all the way over here. And then for this one here, come just sort of next to it. And then you go into this one. And then last but not least, we need to connect this to electricity too. Put a middle one over here and one over there. And then let's go into a lookout tower to see the magic happen. Again, we don't really have any cool walls or anything like this to make it a real factory, but still, I think pretty interesting. You can see 2 miners are coming, and then from the constructor go in the middle. I realized I forgot one thing, which is to tell them what to do. In each of the buildings, there's always a ramp like this, so you can go up. I think this one we said, yes, that was the first. And this one concrete, and this one concrete. Right, so this is 15 per minute. So if it was at 100% productivity all the time, this factory would make us 90 per minute. Again, right now we can't really do it, but soon this will be, and as you can see, this is getting ready. Therefore, anytime we need some concrete, we can just come over here and pick it up. So it is, ladies and gents, second episode in our Let's Play series. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to smash the like button if you did. In the next episode, of course, we're moving to tier 2. And for sure, what we want is to start making an actual factory for each of the resources, right? So we'll make a factory for the iron rod, we'll make a specific factory for the iron plates, specific factory for the screws, right? 1 per each. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.